Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm thrilled to be able to do some bonus readings in honor of community poetry at Half Price Books. I'm going to do a few readings in honor of the first Wednesday readings that used to go on pre-pandemic. I thought I would start by reading a few sciencey poems from the most recent issue collection book from Down the Dirt magazine. This is The Final Frontier. The Final Frontier. I want to sing it. I don't know why. But the first poem I'm going to share with you is not only in this book, but is also it is periodic table poem book, and it is in the book The Periodic Table of Poetry, dun dun dun, which is a huge volume. It was written a long time ago, and before all of them even had their names. So, haha, you will get a poem reading of a classic poem names, but these are older, especially more interesting poems because they were done in the early days of the exploring the periodic table through poetry. So I hope you enjoy this poem. It is actually, this is a fun one, it's titled Zinc. After my injectable medication prescription started, I learned that the drug I need to take would suppress my immune system, which meant that I'd have to start getting flu shots, dress for the weather better because it's easier to get a cold or a fever, and then get more religious about taking more and more vitamins and minerals. Time to OD on vitamin C, take some D when the sun's not out, get your daily B, E, iron, calcium, and zinc. It's funny. I see zinc throat lozenges for when people get sick to try to speed the recovery, but I figured I should hedge my bet and take the supplement every day. Then I told my sister I started taking zinc after the injectable medication regimen began. She was stunned. You can take that much? I can't take that much zinc like that daily. But the thing is, zinc is in nearly 100 enzymes needed for plant and animal life. So whether or not you think the idea of eating this metal is good for you or not, it apparently is needed. And if it'll help me stay healthy, I'll make a point to somehow consume my own fair share. Besides, when cold season comes annually, I see more and more advertisements for zinc lozenges and over-the-counter medications because zinc will help stop any infections so that people can get on with their lives again. I mean, 2 billion people in developed countries actually even have zinc deficiency, which could cause growth retardation, delayed sexual maturity, irregular diarrhea, or the one that I have to fear, infection susceptibility. So I just have to keep in mind the ways that zinc is needed in the body, being the 4th most common element behind iron, aluminum, and copper. It's easy to want to consume zinc because you think it's entirely for your own good. But even though zinc as an element is hard and brittle, too much zinc can actually sap the copper from our bodies because we apparently need a lot of metal elements in our body to keep us strong and make us work right. And the same way too much zinc can sap the copper out of our bodies, soil with too much zinc from local mining could mean that plants, which need metals to live, and we need those plants for food, won't be able to absorb the other metals that they need. And since it was discovered in the 1700s, alchemists used to burn zinc from the air to get what they called white snow, or philosopher's wool, because it collected in puffs. Philosopher's wool. Not half bad sounding. Maybe I can wax philosophical about how zinc, this philosopher's wool, can protect my immune system and help me grapple with the philosophical questions of life. But really, after the Germans discovered zinc in the 1700s, they started using it as a plating for steel, and we have later found that zinc is a great anti-corrosive agent because it's more reactive than iron or steel. Zinc was used throughout history also in brass, but thinking of those nearly 100 enzymes used for plant and animal life that use zinc, it made me think that of all those compounds and ions zinc is now used for, zinc gluconate is that dietary supplement. Zinc chloride is added to lumber as a fire retardant. Zinc sulfide is even used in luminescent plants. And hey, let's make this a little more personal for us humans here. Zinc pyrethrin is used for anti-dandruff shampoo, and zinc chlorinate is used for deodorants. So, yeah, from what I've learned, zinc is needed in so many ways and on so many levels for both us animals and the plants we need to live our lives. It's strange to think that the one element like zinc can be used for so many different purposes, like stopping metals from corroding or stopping wood from catching fire. But we also have to keep in mind that zinc is in nearly 100 enzymes needed for our own plant and animal life. It proves that we need zinc within us as well as around what we need. I don't know. I'm just glad that my stomach doesn't react badly by taking zinc supplements daily, because since I want to make sure I'm as healthy as I can be for as long as I can be, taking more of a metallic element like zinc than the average person does really is a small price to pay. It was a long one. It was a lot of pages to go through, but that was my long poem for periodic table element poem from the Down in the Dirt issue collection book, The Final Frontier, from May to August of 2022. That also happens to appear in the book, The Periodic Table of Poetry, because, you know, you always have to have a periodic table of poetry. But because I talked about something like a philosopher's wool, I might talk about that, because a chemist friend of mine told me about a contest that was going on to create a Twitter-length poem for periodic table elements. I decided to make them for all of them. I actually won third place with one of my poems from Science, Chemistry and Engineering News journal. It was the coolest thing that I won a science contest for a haiku, for a Twitter-length poem. So I decided to write ones for all of them, and I did one for zinc as well, and it relates to something that you heard in that element poem. It is in this book. It is titled Zinc as Philosopher's Wool. Alchemists once burned zinc from the air to get puffs of philosopher's wool, and this white snow stopped wood from catching fire. The cool thing about doing periodic table poems that are Twitter length is sometimes I will have an image that goes with them as well, and I'm going to show you the image for the next one, the last poem I'm going to read for you. It appears in both the Twitterverse periodic table poetry book and the Down in the Dirt issue collection book, The Final Frontier. However, they're in black and white, so I'll try to show you a color version on a monitor. I'll see if I can pull that off before the end of this reading for you guys. But this is one more Twitter-length, Twitterverse periodic table poem, and it's for fermium. What? For fermium. Get a load of that. This is fermium. Bad and good? Named for the maker of the first nuclear reactor. Fermium's first made in '52 by a thermonuclear explosion in the Pacific and was classified in the Cold War. So, sure, bombs are bad, but 100's also the element with alpha particles used in radiotherapy for cancer. So, bad and good? And for that, I've got it on a monitor. It's not the same as in the book, but you're already seeing it in color. Haha, instant color. And there's a cool nuclear explosion, because, you know, that could be bad, but it could actually help us with cancer, which might not be bad either. So, if you'd like to see that online, you can look for that poem online, and it was listed as a Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook image, so You can check that out there. But you can also check them out in the book if you grab a copy of Twitterverse Periodic Table Poetry or the Down in the Dirt issue collection book from the middle of 2022 titled The Final Frontier, with a James Webb telescope cover, which is just the coolest cover. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that reading of a little bit of science. I think I might give you a couple more readings in honor of community poetry, the open mic that so deserves to be shared with the world. So when you could only do it in a bookstore before the pandemic started, now I can keep it alive by sharing it with you guys in YouTube groups regularly. I hope everybody's remaining safe. I hope everybody is remaining creatively inclined in this holiday season and all times of year. And I look forward to seeing and hearing from each and every one of you very, very soon. Thank you all so very much. Thanks.